Hello everyone, and welcome to the full moon reading for the October 9th full moon in Aries at 16 degrees of Aries. It's going to be happening at 4:55 p.m. Eastern, but times will vary. My name is Vickieverlie, and I am the Rock and Roll Prophetess on YouTube. Don't be fooled by imposters. If you do enjoy my content, please hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. That way you let YouTube and me know that you enjoy my content and want to see more. I post a new and full moon reading every month, and I also post a monthly taroscope every month, and I also post other things, metaphysical things. I do channeling, a lot of metaphysical insights and information. So if are interested in that, check out my channel for more videos and interesting things. It's intuitive and psychic. All of my readings are, okay. So I studied tarot for more than 40 years now. I've been doing tarot. Astrology, I started in the 90s, so probably early mid-90s I really started deeply diving into astrology. So I do have an understanding of the concepts of it, but I'm not a by-the-book person at all. So you're going to get a unique slant, and we're going to get insights from my guides and stuff as we go along. So yes, here is the full moon in the sign of Aries at 16 degrees of Aries, and it's conjunct Chiron. I mean, it's right on, pretty close there with the Chiron energy. So the moon itself, let's just look at that. The moon is intuition. The moon is our subconscious mind, our dreams. And Chiron wants its emotions, and Chiron wants to do the healing, you know. Chiron in Aries has been a little bit, it's because Aries isn't good at subtlety. Aries is a lot of things, but subtle is probably not one of them, And the moon energy, and a lot of times this going deep into these, the Chiron. For instance, when the Chiron was in Pisces, and it was with the Neptune, we were into this deep dive of all our emotional stuff and everything. And a lot of times Aries is acting out, it's action. It's not taking too much time to feel or think, overthink things. It's acting right now. So it could be this impulse to really act out on our wounds or our triggers. This could really, with the Aries energy, this could really bring our triggers to the forefront. Somebody could say something to you that is not even, not that particularly offensive necessarily, or outside the realm of anything normal or whatever, and because it triggers some other wound. Why are you might want to ask, if you find yourself getting really irritated or reacting, what really triggered you? It wasn't because that person said, something about your hair or your hat I'm picking up for somebody, And maybe that's what your mom always did that to you. And, you can get in touch with or tap into some of these deeper underlying issues that are really the reason that you're getting this upset. And that could be really helpful, Everybody's not out there to trigger you and annoy you and irritate you, What within you is causing this? And then you can act quickly to possibly resolve that or redirect that energy instead of lashing out at somebody. Because we have, the other side of the full moon always is it's opposed to the sun. And the sun is conjunct Venus in the sign of Libra. And Venus is the ruler of Libra. You see, every house and every planet has a ruler and everything. So Venus is ruled there. It's empowered to be in its own sign of Libra. And it's joined with the sun. So it's like really, the full moon is in Aries, but the sun is shining its light in the sign of Libra, in the sign with the Venus there. So we really are being called to express love. It's a very much a vibe of forgiveness as well. So sometimes, it's not like, oh, yeah, it was really my mother because the moon could be your mother. I hate when people always blame their mother, but, really it's the mother, and, it was my mother, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, you've uncovered that the root of this trigger or this aggravation or this thing that's getting you riled up, getting you to be in Aries and to take the warrior stance or be in war or wanting to go to war or go to battle over. Maybe it is your mother. Let's say it is, okay? But then we can bring in this Venus thing, and we can bring in the forgiveness. We can bring in the forgiveness, because only through forgiveness does the true healing really take place. through forgiveness, through love, through balance. Libra is a sign of balance and harmony. What else is going on here? Let's take a look at the aspectarian down here. Okay, so the moon is trying that. It's sextiling the Saturn. Okay, yeah, it is sextiling the Saturn. The moon is sextiling the Saturn, and the Venus-Sun conjunction is trining the Saturn and air sign energies here. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I hit the pen on the camera. It might have been kind of loud on your end. Sorry if it was. Yeah, so it can entail these karmic relationships, And Saturn in Aquarius is calling us to our higher way of being. So we're here. Saturn is the family line. It's the patriarchy. It's our family. It's the karma that we were born into, the karma we're destined to deal with, or on our soul mission that we decided to deal with, as something that we took on in a soul mission. And therefore, it's not going to go away. It's not just you can just forget it and it's going to go away. It needs to be dealt with. So we could be doing clearing of a lot of karma through this in a way that's not so utterly painful and rip your guts out way, like maybe Pluto might be, and Aries can be at times too. Hurtful or aggressive, or we can do it in a Libra way, in a Venus Libra way, where there is balance, where there is harmony, where there is forgiveness, and then we can be released from it, not only from this lifetime but other lifetimes as well. It's really far-reaching. It really is. And not only that, we break those karmic ties. The buck stops here of these generational or these hereditary karmic patterns that we're born into, and that we choose to be born into, that we choose to tackle in this incarnation, It's also this dichotomy of, Aries is me, and Jupiter's coming into Aries too, so it's a lot of me. Well, what about me? And I want my needs met, into considering the other person's feelings, considering the other person's emotions. Especially there's growth between Aries and in the houses. The Aries is the baby. And then we get into the 7th house through the 12th, we get into a higher spiritual understanding. Or you could even say adulthood. This is the child. Well, the child wants the parent to do this or to do that, or this, the child is throwing a tantrum because they want things their way. And then when you move into your, or for a lot of people it happens when you become a parent yourself, and it's just like, oh, wow, I see what I put my mother through. Instead of blaming your mother or father or whoever, I'm just using that as an example, but instead of blaming them and they ruined my life, blah, 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 they weren't perfect. It's like, man, parenting is a tough gig, man. It's a tough gig. And there's, you got to put up with it's not. They're only human. They were trying the best they can. And yeah, was I wounded? Was I hurt by it? Yeah, I was. That doesn't negate your wounds, It just calls you to be at a higher level, and Saturn calls you in Aquarius calls you to be at a higher level, to take that high road. And sometimes it's like, I don't want to take the high road. I want redemption. I want to punish them. And we all go there. We all get in that place. That can happen. But ideally, when you can truly come to that higher place of reason, that higher place of understanding, that higher place of compromise, and it ultimately can give you that peace. Give you that peace that you're really seeking. Okay, so another thing that's happening here, I'm seeing is that the Neptune is squaring with the Mars, because Mars is the ruler of Aries. Therefore, that means Mars is the ruler of this full moon, because it's the ruling of the sign Aries, even though it's in Gemini. It's going to be in Gemini for many months now. We're going to be dealing with that. Yeah, so Mars, Mars is trining also. Mars is trining this. We actually have a grand trine in air with the Sun, Mars, and Saturn. It's a loose trine here. But Neptune, what grabbed me is the Neptune is squaring the Mars too. It could go either way. Negatively, Neptune square Mars can fuel that unreasonable expectation that you have on anybody to be perfect. Or it's all about what they did to you or how they affected you. These are unreasonable expectations. even as adults, maybe in our adult relationships. You know, my partner didn't do this, didn't do that, because 7th house really is the house of partnerships, you know. But a lot of times through our partnerships, we are playing out those childhood wounds all over again. So, but, you know, there's this unrealistic, and Neptune fueling that flame in your mind with the Gemini. Oh, I bet they didn't call me because they're out fooling around, or I bet they're out there doing this thing that I don't want them to do, whatever the hell it is, you know. Start getting that crazy, and start letting your imagination go crazy, and, you know, it can get out of control. So we got to rein it in. We got to pull it in here. We got to give people the benefit of the doubt, especially in our one-on-one personal relationships. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Well, maybe they just got busy or whatever. You know, there's a lot of reasons why they haven't called or text, or it's not all. You know, you have to realize it's not all about you. And it's me too. Everybody, we got to realize it's not all about us. And even as groups, as nations, you know, as groups, we don't want to compromise. You know. We get into our camps or our teams, you know, with that sports mentality that I'm not a fan of, and, you know, we bring it into we'll pick a team, and, you know, our team believes this, even if it's something completely outrageous. You know, I'm always, you know, I definitely have my views, but I'm always willing to listen. And if something, you know, I'm not going to just discount information or discount things. You know, that's the Libra. Libra is the scales of justice. They hear all sides of the case. And then they make a fair and just balanced decision. And that's what we're being called to do in order to go through these deep healings. These wounds are going to be coming up. Okay, they're going to be coming up, like I said, either through triggers through other people, or maybe through, you know, just remembrances with the moon, or dreams, or emotional. You know, it could be really messy. There could be a lot of messy stuff going on here. So we've got to find that balance. We've got to find that, and not let things get out of control, crazy. You know, with our imagination, you know, fueling the worst possible outcomes here. With this aspect, a positive way that we could really use this aspect up is to really, you know, create a visualization we have our imaginary realm here with the Neptune. And then Mars is down, and, you know, boots on the ground in the reality. Let's go. I'm ready to go. What do I need to do? Tell me where to go. Tell me what to do. Let's get this show on the road. Practical action. You know, these two can be a powerful combination for manifesting our dreams, for creating our reality, if used in the proper way, and not let it just get crazy, carried away. And then the Neptune is still sextiling the Pluto too, which is wanting us to make big changes through our dreams. But it's also a sign here, like, not to ignore those little dreams and hunches. Don't ignore them, because they are value. They do have value. They can be, you know, there can be, some of your hunches are good. Maybe that thing that you are suspicious of really is true. But before you fly off the handle and let it get carried away, find out the solid, concrete information about it. Uranus is still with the nodes, and that's also in that, you know, there's a 16, and we've got 13 and 18, 13 here. You know, that's also here in the mixed, I always forget, it's an conjunct semi-sextile, whatever, but it's where you've got to make an adjustment. The fate is calling you to make an adjustment. And much of it is going to be about looking outside yourself, taking the other person into consideration, thinking about, you know, trying to see things from the other person's point of view. Another thing is, and I was telling this to somebody recently, if you get too much in your head, a lot of times if you get too self-obsessed, and we get there, and I've gone there, you know, when you're just thinking, and it's all about me, and what am I going to do, turn that energy out to help somebody else. You know, go volunteer at a homeless shelter, go volunteer at an animal shelter, or, you know, call a friend who's needing, you know, take the emphasis off yourself and turn it to somebody less fortunate, perhaps, and that way you can, wow, that was weird. That was really weird. Well, but then you can take the focus off yourself. I can't show you, but what was happening over there? There was just these 3 little green dots. Tiny. This big. Floating in the air over there. And I have a flashlight over there. Let me pull the flashlight out and show you. I have this thing. It almost looks like what this looks like when these are lit up. Oh, sorry if that's too much. These lit here, you can see it better this way maybe. But they were green. So I thought it was coming off the... Was that flashlight on? I reached over there and when I put my hand through the 3 little tiny green dots, they disappear. Wow! I didn't touch anything. So if it was a reflection of something, I didn't move anything. I just was like, what is that? And I put my hand across it, and these 3 little tiny green dots were there, and they just disappeared. So, I don't know. Are these spirit guides showing up with aliens? I mean, I've seen orbs before, but these were just tiny little green dots. Well, anyways, back to the reading. What was I talking about? I don't even know. That freaked me out. I'm sorry. But anyways, yeah. I was talking about, you could go help somebody less fortunate. And then you have some appreciation for, that puts you back in the attitude of gratitude then. It's just like, whew, I may have some problems, but man, I'm a lot better off. I'm really lucky that I have a place to stay, or that I'm, whatever. You get back into that, to appreciating what you do have, instead of, lashing out so much, and that can put you in a space of, wanting to be more cooperative. And it can be hard. It can be hard to try to be cooperative with people in situations where they're just spewing their vile whatever at you all the time. It could be real difficult. And maybe you do need to retreat. Maybe you do need to just walk away. There is a lot of self-exploration, but I feel like if you get in, and through this self-exploration and this self-healing here, and these insights that may come about during this time, you could be a better partner. You could be a better friend. You could be a better. You could have more tolerance of things in the world and not allow it to get triggered. Will people be getting triggered at this moment? I think yes. I think with the Chiron conjunction and this Mars Neptune and everything, I think yes. I think people could get really triggered, and it could bring things to culmination of anger. I want to fight you. I want to do battle, because in its essence, Mars is the god of war. I want to do battle with you. I want to fight you. It's your fault because what happened to me is all your fault. And maybe that was true. Maybe somebody outright, just did something just shitty to you. Maybe they did. But you're only hurting yourself by holding on to that. That's the thing. You're not hurting them. You're only hurting yourself. The guides are coming through with rise to the occasion. They're saying, rise to the occasion. Rise, rise, rise. That's the guide's message. Now let's look at this 28 Venus here. What is that doing? That's making a trine to the Pluto here. And it's also squaring the Mars here. I mean, it could be, some kind of life-changing Venus square the Mars. That's that major attraction, and then we bring in Pluto. Yeah, I don't know that if somebody that comes in on a Mars-Pluto aspect. Well, I'll tell you one thing, the sex would be great. That's one thing I could say about that. But sometimes we get carried away with the sex. That's another thing with the Aries and Libra. Here's the sex part, and here's the heart. This is the sexual, Mars is the sexual attraction, Venus is the love of the heart, the love energy. So we can get tangled up with people, and you think it's love because you're having this amazing sex and everything, and then once that tends to die down a little bit, it's just like, I don't even like you, man, let alone love you. I mean, we don't even get along or anything. So, that's something to consider. And I'm not saying that just having sex for passion's sake is a bad thing at all. I'm definitely not. I would never say that. But the confusion between, a sexual and true love thing, they're different. It's definitely different. So there could be, you know, the full moon is always, there's the opposition. Look at, they're revving their motor up. They're getting charged up out there. Talking about sex, and we hear these motors revving up outside. Yeah, so yeah, there's always two parts to it. You know, it's not all cut and dry. Well, there's more than two parts. It's multi-dimensional is what the guides came through with, but it's multifaceted is what I was trying to say. Yeah, and also because the Venus is opposing the Neptune. You know, you could get swept away if you're out there single and looking. You get swept away by, you know, these rose-colored glasses kind of things, and it could just sweep you away. Where you're normally maybe Venus really discerning about those kinds of things, you know, those red flags. You know, you could just get off you go into the wild blue yonder. And, you know, maybe you need an adventure, but just, you know, remember that. Keep it lighthearted. Don't be like, hey, you know, making demands, you know. You said you were going to be with me forever, and it's like, hey, dude, we were just hanging out. What, you know. So, you can get there. It could be misconstrued. You know, it could be misconstrued. With the Mars and Gemini, where's that Mercury at? Oh, that is the Mercury. I thought it was the Venus. It is the Mercury. Yeah, it could be misconstrued with the Mercury. Sorry, I was calling it the Venus. It looks like the Venus because the top's cut off. But here's the Venus is up here. That's the Mercury. Trining Pluto. Now, that can be where you could say something that you can't take back. You know, with the square and the Mars, too. You could say, watch your mouth, because you could say, think before you speak. This Aries brings about that impulsive nature. Mars and Gemini brings that in, too. You could say something that you can't take back, so think before you speak. And, but, I might have said this in the last one, but it's coming through again. Because it's coming through, messages can be coming through spirit in strange and unusual ways. And it just happened to me yesterday. I was at this big art festival show thing that they have, art and music thing. And there was a couple of conversations that were direct messages for me. When I'm looking for that, when I'm looking for answers, I usually go to this busy ethnic marketplace that we have in the inner city, not far from my house. It's this big market. It's always packed. There's just a ton of people there all the time. So, and I'll just walk through there, and I'll get a message that is just like meant for me, just by overhearing other people's conversations. And it's not like you're going around sticking your ear and nose in other people's business, but just go about your business, but listen to what people are saying, and it could just come. It's coming through the universe. It may not be a complete stranger even, but I feel like it's not direct. I feel like there is some decoding, or, you know, that happens too in regular conversation. People will say something, well, blah blah blah, this and that, and it's just like, oh, the answer to my whole dilemma, thank you, universe. And they're not even meaning to, but it's something that is like a simile to a metaphor for what's going on in your life. And it's like this message. So you could be getting those messages, getting these life-changing messages. It may be, maybe you're going to actually go attend a seminar and it's life-changing. The words of the speaker is life-changing to you. It could be. But I think in a lot of cases, it's going to be like this real subtle thing like this. It's going to be, you know, where you just, somebody says something to you, or you hear it being said, and I'm trying to give an example of how it might go, because I'm not sure if I'm explaining it real smoothly here. Okay, I want to know, well, this probably wouldn't happen like this, but let's just say it's probably more life-changing, profound than this. But it could be, you know. Like, just say, well, I'm wondering what time I should call for the job interview. And then you walk in and somebody says, well, you know, I called them at 3 o'clock and it worked out perfect, you know. And they're talking to somebody else, or they're talking about something completely different, but it's so relevant to your situation. You know, it's probably not going to be a time to call or anything, but, you know, that was just the first example I could grab out of my brain. But it's probably something like that, you know, where it's just real, it's like, wow, that was a message straight from the universe. The thing I want to get to is the person saying the message is not intending it to be, here, hello, I have a message from the universe for you, you know, and making a big announcement. I'll unroll the scroll. Here is your message from the universe, you know. It's going to come in like maybe strange and subtle ways, could be. All right, well, there it is. There's the reading for this full moon. Is Jupiter going into Pisces yet? Or it's going to be. By the next one, it'll be back in Pisces. So it's still there in Aries. Okay. All right, everybody. So this is the reading. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy my content, please do hit the subscribe button, because that lets YouTube and other people, and myself know, not other people, me, that you do enjoy the content, and it keeps me going to keep doing these readings. I am offering the year ahead reading. If you want to look at some of the transits for next year, that's the first part of that reading. It's always my most popular reading. It'll be available. It's the reading for 2023. So we look at some of the major transits in the first part, and then I do a 4-season psychic tarot reading and pull an animal totem for you. So I'm right in the throes of them all now. Everybody's been ordering. So if you think that might be interesting for you, and you might be interested in it, you can follow the links below in the video description, or just go straight to my website and look under the readings tab, and all the readings that I do offer are listed there. So thank you for tuning in today. Have the best full moon ever. Remember, you are love and beauty incarnate, and I'll be back again soon.